Hi and welcome back to this channel, UFO Hunter UK. Well guys, this video is going to prove extremely difficult for me because yet again I have no script in front of me. This video is going to be about the Shannon statement. Now I feel it is very important to the previous two statements, that of Biker 1 and Biker 2. So if we think of Biker 1, by the end of the interview he had said that him and his colleague were the only two people in that lift, and that when he got out that lift he had actually seen two maintenance engineers in the hallway. Now, I've read some comments from the other two videos, and I've got to say this, guys. Just remember, they are MGM security guards, and Biker 1 will know the difference between a security guard and a maintenance guy's uniform. In actual fact, if you go back to Stephen Shuck's statement, I believe that he actually tells you in there what he was wearing. So there is no way that an MGM security guard is going to mistake anybody else in that hallway because he was wearing a maintenance uniform. That's how he knew. But that's my opinion. Anyway, Biker 1, as in Biker 2, there is no mention of Shuck as Campos came up the hallway to them. Now, Biker 2, he said that they came up in the lift and there was a security manager or security supervisor with them. Now, when I be going through this Olsbury statement, I'm going to show you that that is totally incorrect. Now, I think it'd be at that point I will stop, publish, and then start on the next section. Because I know that this video, if I do it in one go, will be hours and hours long. So I'm going to try and chunk it down to a couple of videos, maybe two, maybe three, I don't know. But we need to really try to unravel and visualize what the hell was going on in that hallway in those first moments. So let's go to the Shannon Olsbury's statement. So this is the statement of Shannon Olsbury. First of all, I would like to apologise for the fact that I didn't have enough time to scan and transfer over the statement with all my notes on it. Secondly, people could say that I seem to be overanalyzing this, but there's an old saying, remember guys, the devil is in the detail. Also, I want you to remember that some time ago I actually placed a link on one of my videos into how the FBI and the law enforcement uses statement analysis in interviewing techniques. Now, when I get time, I would love to do a video on statement analysis and body language, but that is going to be sometime in the future. This statement actually lasted for 16 minutes, which was way longer than Biker 1 or even Biker 2. This was conducted on the 7th of October, which was 4 days before both bikers. Now, if we have a look, there were two people in on this interview. One was a Detective Colin, who actually did not do Bikers 1 and 2. If you remember, it was Detective Hodgson. The second person down here you can see is the Vice President and Legal Counsel of Mandalay Bay. If you remember in Biker 2, this here was actually redacted, but in the statement there was an individual with the initials of AE. Now there are only two people at this interview, which was Detective Colin and this guy here who happens to be AE. So it was easy for me to conclude that AE is in actual fact the Vice President. So here we go. Now you guys will remember I have always had an issue or a problem with the bracket and indeed the drilling. So let's just read this statement. This is Olsbury. He said, I received a phone call from my dispatcher, which is redacted, when I was in the office saying that a security officer needed to talk to me. So she transferred him to me. It was Jesus Campos stating that or asking if I was doing any work on the 32nd floor of the 100 wing. So now that we got a conversation going on here. So he says to Campos that he wasn't aware of anything and there shouldn't be any reason since it's an egress. So then Olsbury asked him what type of bracket it is. Campos said it's an L-shaped bracket. So I said, okay, I'll send an engineer to take up a look at it. And he said, well, hold on, I hear a drill on the other side of the door. So I said, okay, well, so you hear a drill. You might want to go to the floor above or below to catch the guy in the stairwell. So, okay, so let's now break that down and have a look. So he says here, must have been on the house phone when he started talking to Olsbury. So he asked the question, and he did say it seems like an L-shaped bracket. So then Olsbury said, I'm going to send an engineer to look at it. What surprised me was then Campos said, well, hold on, I hear a drill on the other side of the door. So we know now that Olsbury did not call Shuck until he left the office. And he says that further on. Now we know two doors in the foyer. You have the one that is by the hallway and the one that leads to the stairs. So when I seen this, I hear the drill on the other side of the door. That gave me a concern. So it further goes on. Colin said, did he say where the drill noise was coming from? Alsbury said, he said it sounded like it was coming from the back of the stairwell door. Guys, this is what Alsbury said the conversation was. That Campos had turned around and said it was coming from the back of the stairwell door. He didn't say that it was coming from 135. He didn't say it was coming from the hallway door. He said the back of the stairwell door. That is why he said previously, up here, thinking somebody's just putting brackets on all of them. On all of them. So I said, I'm on my way up. When you go to Campos on his statement, okay, here it is here. You start to scroll down. Here. So he says here about contacting engineering. I contacted engineering. This must be on the house phone. This is where it ties up with Alsbury. They said that they weren't aware of a situation either. At that moment in time, I heard a noise which I assumed were drills, or like a very loud drill. So I started walking away from the room. Okay, so this is when he's first talking about it. He hasn't said that he thought it was coming from the back of the stairwell door. But then when you go on, later down into his statement here, then it says, okay, so you see the metal bracket, and then you start to hear what you believe to be a loud drill. Yes. Could you tell where that noise was coming from? 32125. Not 32135, because he then said, okay, and then Jose Campos says 32135. So then it says, so you hear a loud drilling coming from 32135. Could you tell if it was deep in the room or right by the doors? It was deep in the room. So my question is, guys, going back to Alsbury, why would he say that Campos had said to him that it sounded like it was coming from the back of the stairwell door? We have a conflict between Campos and Alsbury. Look, I know I shouldn't, but I'm going to have to go off a topic here. I'll get back on topic as soon as I can. But look, guys, I don't really consider myself that intelligent. I'm just simple and just thinking things through. But here you've got the biggest mass shooting on American soil. And after what? Just a couple of days, he was a lone wolf. He planned it well. There's no ISIS or political connection. Well, surely as the leader of this investigation, you don't relent to the mainstream media. Now, I know you've got to make people feel safe. There's loads of money coming into Vegas, and you really can't afford to stop that just by saying that somebody else is on the loose. I understand that. But guys, this is now 8 months. And if you do find those inconsistencies, then you've got to tell the American public and the reasons why you have. But in my opinion, I think you've dug yourself a hole. And this hole is mighty, mighty big hole that you can't get out of. Or it seems like you can't get out of. Look, you'd have set up a central command control center. You'd have chunked this complex crime down. So in this instance, just like I'm doing, you would have concentrated on a segment of this crime. We'll say 9:45 to 10:30. So you sat in your command control central unit. You've got your detectives sat around the table and you say, okay, let's have a look at the first instant of people coming off of that lift. What have you got? You've got the bikers. You've got Jesus Campos, Stephen Shutt, and Shannon Alsbury. You've got 3 different detectives that are taking those statements. Now, if you haven't sat round the table and put those statements up, then how on earth would you ever connect the inconsistencies? For example, the simplistic one here, where he said, Alsbury, it sounded like it was coming from the back of the stairwell door. So you'd have pinned that up on your massive whiteboard and you'd say, hang on a minute, Campos have said it was coming from 135. Alsbury have said it's coming from the stairwell door. And the fact that he was saying to Campos, we need to get an engineer to go up and down to have a look. So it couldn't have been 135. Now, I don't know if you've done follow-up investigations until you release the further interviews, if there are any. But I'm just amazed that you produced a fit report, which I believe is still legally standing. I just cannot envisage that you are given the opportunity to say, I'm going to tear this up. It was just our first draft. It's not allowed. I cannot believe that. You have said this is what happened. It is a preliminary report, but there are basic fundamental inconsistencies. Now we know from the witness statements until the fit report. Well, I've said my piece on that and I'll get back on topic. So I'm just going to finish off this first section by saying this. So Shannon Alsbury then says that he had got up from his office and he started to call his engineer. Okay, so he didn't call the engineer straight after Campos had got off the phone. He started to go out of the office. He's heading out towards the lift. Then he rings his engineer up and he says, Lee, I need you to meet me up here. I got a guy bracketing the door. So then he says, Shuck said copy. He was en route. I got to the elevator at beach level. Now I'm going to stop there. So we got Shannon Aylesbury about to enter the lift on the beach level. I will then show you just another inconsistency of these statements. I will show you why I strongly believe that a security manager stroke supervisor did not go up in the lift with biker 2 and 1. Thanks for watching. I hope to get out the next video as soon as I can to continue the statement of Shannon Aylesbury. Thanks for watching. Take care.